We are keeping the past alive by not letting the memories go. So you never make any changes in your life because what you are remembers always this old version of you just desperately want to get away from. This way your mind tells you that you are always the same. What misery. This is why we feel trapped. This video is a guide on how to kill your past self. Okay, we're gonna go into deep emotional wounds now, so this is gonna be fun. So when I had to process my breakup of a 6-year-long relationship, I wondered, where is the version of us that had this deep connection? Is it really somewhere in the past? Are all our good memories together somehow like stuck there, replaying for all eternity in a timeless loop? Or is it all gone because it has never even happened? All moments aren't real, as there is no way to go back, so for all intents and purposes, it doesn't really matter what happened anymore, it's just gone. It's now all in my head. But then you have to wonder, wasn't it all always in my head? The brain is like a computer that has all past experiences stored, and it's storing it in the subconscious. Every day we wake up and subconsciously we boot up all our past memories. This makes it so that every day we have like a distinct sense of self because of the experience that we've had in the past. We don't really know why we are here, but the stories in our heads make us make sense. Each day is like a dream, and we wake into the dream. But all the saved up memory about ourselves is what makes the dream coherent. So we feel like the dream makes sense. It doesn't feel like a dream at all, we just call it reality because it is so consistent. And for us to remain with this consistency, we also need to think about ourselves in the same way. That the past version of ourselves and the current version is like kind of the same. This is at least what we tell each other. So each day our brain boots up our past and therefore our sense of self that has been predicated on the past. Sometimes a situation might trigger a bad memory. The mind then checks if this memory is still relevant. When suddenly a bad memory hits you and you can still feel its lingering pain from the past, it's because part of you is still stuck there. You're stuck in the past. And this is the standard way of living for most people. But if my past is predicated on my sense of self, and my self is just a collection of stories from the past, then the self is always non-existent, and the past has to be an illusion. So what do I even mean when I say killing past self? What even is the self that we are trying to destroy? Well, at the root of it all is really just pain. The sense of self that wants to be killed is an identity that hates what happened, or it hates what it was, either because of what you did or what has been done to you. So you have a story about yourself that each time you remind yourself of the story, it is a painful experience. And you might think that it is kind of stuck there in the past, but the pain is actually experienced here, right? It's experienced as your present version of you. So in a way, you wish that it never even happened, to erase the past somehow and make it unreal. But of course, we can't change the past or erase it. It actually is just about the pain we feel in the moment that we want to erase. The dominant strategy for most humans, which is disastrous, is denial. Instead of confronting yourself with the facts of what happened, you deny it. Something bad happened, but I didn't do it. And if I did do it, well, then it wasn't that bad. And if it was that bad, well, then somebody else made me do that thing. And if there wasn't anybody else, well, then I simply didn't know why what happened. And it goes around like this. We always find rationalizations, or ways to trick our minds into not having to adopt responsibility for our part. Or we try to weigh the responsibility in a way that makes us look better in really the eyes of ourselves. To be honest with yourself is the first step to killing your past. Because as long as you are in denial, you can't ever reach your subconscious and dissolve it. You can tell yourself you are not guilty again and again, but your subconscious knows. All the feelings that you are feeling want to point you to some aspect of your subconscious that you're not acknowledging. As long as you don't do that, This past self can't die. It's like an emotional knot that has been tied in you that needs to be untied and freed first. That's why in therapy, it's always the truth that cures. It is when your psyche gets liberated from this weight of denial. It liberates your psyche by letting you think straight, by not having to hide anymore who you are, by trying to manage what you're going to say and what you're going to admit. It just lets you simply be who you are. And it's not like it's always about admitting guilt. It can also be about acknowledging your innocence, how unfair it was what has happened to you, and that it's actually not all your fault, and all of these rationalizations you're using to resolve other people of their guilt and their fault. People do this also all the time, and it has the same negative consequences. Whatever it is, follow your emotion and let it lead you towards the truth. The nature of insight into oneself always has this feeling of, oh, I've actually always known this. I've actually always knew this to some regard, and I just never admitted this to myself. This is what insight feels like. In the moment it really gets revealed to you, it is so overwhelmingly obvious that you can't deny it anymore. And it might be very painful, it might release a lot of negative emotions, but this is a crucial step towards actual freedom from any past stories. When it is impossible to deny, you become one important step closer to killing this pesky sense of self. But there's a way deeper problem at the heart of this. Because even if you can acknowledge the past, honestly, it doesn't mean that it automatically goes away. When you first open towards, when you first open the dark corners of your mind, it can actually be kind of destabilizing, very uncomfortable. You might be judging yourself in so many different ways about the past. So much so that this judgment doesn't make you see clearly about what's actually going on. So let's actually point to the most important realization. I want you to step into this moment. Step away from all these thoughts and mental understandings about what we're talking about here. I just want you to look into this moment, right here, right now, straight up, and ask yourself, where is the past now? Can you show it to me? Can you show me your past? Can you, in this moment, focus on the presence and then tell me where your past is supposed to be? It really does not exist anymore. It is gone. That's the nature of the past. But in your head, whatever you feel like about the past, this is what's real. But only when you remember it, only when you think about it and you have some triggering situation that puts it up again. But as a matter of fact, it is not real anymore. Something that is can't be in the past. In the past, it is what was, not what is. So it is a matter of fact that all your memories, all your ideas about yourself, all these stories you have constructed about what happened and whatever, they are an illusion. They are a dream within a dream. They exist, but only as a construct of your mind. And they don't represent even 1% of the actual reality of what has happened. It is a very, very, very bad reconstruction. It's like phantom regret. And be careful here, because this does not mean we want to be in denial about what actually happened and what the actual consequences were, what type of person you were. All these facts about the past are real, and you know it. But the past isn't real anymore. You are not only allowed to move past it, you're not only allowed to let all that shit go, it is factually your only option. No amount of guilt or regret or frustration or sadness will turn back the time. Hoping that somehow everything would go back to how it was is denial. How could you even attempt to fight against time? What hubris! What you want is you want to be able to do both. Take some time to feel your emotions, think your thoughts related to the past. Don't deny them, don't wriggle yourself out of them, and don't argue with them. Feel them in your mind's eye to all of your best abilities. This way you will enter into the experience that you actually want to forget, but you kind of live through it again from like the best of your abilities and with the emotional response that you felt. And it will process it for the reality that it was, right? That you will process it as how it was like to the best of your emotional abilities or what it meant to you. And you can do this meditating, journaling, or simply daydreaming while you're on the go. It doesn't really matter. But you want to do it with awareness. But there will be a point where you might start to ruminate, where you think the same thoughts again and again, and you don't feel like you are coming to any satisfying conclusion. This is the point where you start to deconstruct. Notice how much all of these thought loops and ideas are just a reinforcement mechanism. You are building in this moment a construct of self in the mind. It is actually trying to keep itself alive by thinking the same thoughts. You aren't really trying to solve anything because there is nothing to solve. It already did happen. You want to feel the lingering emotions, but when you get stuck in thought loops, it's your sense of self that just gets stuck. It has nothing to do with the content or the facts you're arguing with. It's already said and done. The recognition of this, whenever it happens, the awareness of this, is where the past self dies. Where it sees that it can change what it was, where it can feel honestly what it is in the present, and then proceeds to embody this new, refreshed, open sense of self. The moment all past is processed, it doesn't matter anymore. The memories will fade. You'll learn how to let go of these emotions, and they will be less associated with these memories. Then they will also fade. Then a lot of memories might fade, and then you actually need to also accept that you can let go of them. Even if they are painful, you might actually want to remember them, but even this then can be let go of. Then the only thing left to do is move towards a better future, free from the imposed barriers of the past. When I think about my past relationship, in a way I'm still sure that we're back there somewhere in the sea of time. Because it doesn't really matter which form of love takes. When you remove the sense of self from the equation, it all simply shines in its everlasting beauty. It's always this desire to wanting to escape yourself what creates all of the suffering and the discomfort. Here I made a guide about how this desire to escape ourselves is actually what creates hell.